89% of you watching this video are going to skip it the moment I say something that requires you to actually change. That's fine, stay 89%. But if you're in the 2%, the ones who are done watching your life happen to you instead of happening through you, sit down, because I'm going to give you a ritual, not a vision board, not a gradual journal, a ritual, the exact mechanism elite operators use to solve an old identity and install a new one on command. And I never said let it out to start or finish like I'm going to right now. So, subscribe or don't. Here's what nobody tells you about your land on this planet. You didn't get handed an identity, you got handed a placeholder, a cheap second-hand personality built out of your parents, fears and school grading systems, and whatever your timeline told you to be afraid of. And most of you have been working around your entire life defending a placeholder like it's your soul. That ends today, bro. Let me ask you something about you never actually ask yourself. Why do 89% of people who want to change never change? It's not discipline, it's not intelligence, it's not even effort. Half of these people work themselves into the ground trying to become someone new. I've watched people grind for a decade and still wake up as the same person with a slightly better job title. And I used to think, man, what's the difference between them and the people who actually transform? Here's the difference. They were trying to change the behavior without even touching the identity. It's like repairing a car with a broken engine. Looks different for a week, drives exactly the same. So, behavior is downstream of identity. Read that again. You don't get a life by doing new things. You get a new life by becoming someone who the things really are simply normal for. And the only way to actually change identity at the root, instead of degrading the outside of the same old identity, it's through ritual, not routine, ritual. I want you to understand the difference right now, because most of you have been confusing to your entire life. A routine is something you do with your body on autopilot. Brushing your teeth, scrolling before bed. A routine doesn't ask anything of your consciousness. That's why it doesn't change you. A ritual is something you do consciously, with intention that marks the death and the birth. Every ritual and every ancient tradition, every intuition, every rite of passage, every ceremony that actually means something had a one job: kill the old identity in a controlled, deliberated way, so a new one has room to move in. That's it. That's the entire mechanism behind every transformation you ever witnessed in someone else, and wondered how did they change so fast. They didn't evolve slowly. They ritualized the death. Okay, notes out. I want to see notes in the comments, because I'm about to give you the actual ritual. 5 phrases. And if you just watch it for entertainment, close the tab now, because this only works for people who are actually going to do it. So, you cannot kill something that haven't named. This is where 89% of people trying to manifest a new life get stuck immediately, because they skip straight to the future self without even being honest about the current self. Fill that blank out loud right now. Pause the video if you have to. Not who you want to be, who you actually are, structurally today. And I mean the unflattering version. I am currently someone who says yes to everything and resents everyone for it. I'm currently someone who starts and doesn't finish. I'm currently someone who needs permission before I trust myself. This is not self-hatred. I need you to hear that. Naming the current identity isn't an insult to yourself, it's a diagnosis. A doctor doesn't hate you for telling you what's going on your body. Right now you are doing a surgery on your body to refuse look at it and wondering why nothing heals. Here's the part that's going to sting a little. That identity you just named. You build it, on purpose or not. Every single belief, every flinch, every habitual reaction. You hear it enough times that your nervous system now performs it automatically. Which means the good news buried inside the bad news is this: if you build it through repetition, you can rebuild it through repetition. That's the whole game. Nothing about you is fixed. It's just here erased. Nothing is fixed. Everything is re-erased. So, phase 1 of the ritual is simple on paper and brutal in practice. Write the current identity down. In full, no editing, no softening. Some of you are going to write 3 sentences and stop because it gets uncomfortable. Good. That discomfort is a wall between you and the 2%. Push through it or stay exactly where you are. That's generally your choice. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. So, phase 2 of the ritual. It's a funeral. This is the part everybody skips. And this is the part that actually does the work. You have to grieve the identity before you can replace it. I don't care how much you hated who you were, whereas a part of your nervous system built an entire life around that identity. And it is not going to hand over control just because you had a nice realization at 2 in the morning. The old identity will fight for its life. This is why people self-sabotage right after the biggest breakthroughs. You've seen it. Someone finally get clear on what they want, take one bold step forward, and then 2 weeks later they back in the same pattern. More confused than ever. It's not because they didn't want it badly enough. It's because nobody told them the old identity doesn't die quietly. It negotiates. It panics. It finds a reason you are not ready. And if it doesn't consciously hold a funeral for it, it just keeps remaining. So here what the ritual actually asks you to do. Physically, not metaphysically. Take what you wrote and write first one. The honest, unflattering identity. And write it is itself already dead. Past tense. There were a version of me who needed permission before he trusted himself. He is no longer here. Some of you are going to feel genuinely emotional doing this. That's correct. That's supposed to happen. You are allowed to grieve a version of yourself, even if stating that version would have hurt you. Growth is not about absence of grief. It's grief with a direction. I'll be honest with you for a second. When I buried the version of me who thought he needed someone approval before he opened his mouth, that took me years, not one video. So if you're doing this right now and it doesn't instantly feel like a rebirth, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it right on schedule. So let's keep going. Phase number 3 of the ritual, the declaration. Affirmations get mocked, and honestly most of the times they deserve it, because most of the people are doing it completely wrong. Standing in a mirror saying I'm confident in the exact same flat, unconvinced tone you use to read your groceries does nothing. Your subconscious mind is programmed by words. It's programmed by emotional charge. A sentence said with zero conviction is just noise. You understand it? A sentence said with zero conviction is just noise. So, emotion is a programming language, not words. So, phase 3 isn't say nice thing about yourself. It's a declaration. And the declaration has 3 requirements, or it doesn't count. 1, present tense, not I will be, not I'm working on becoming. You need to be the thing before the evidence shows up, because the evidence is downstream of the identity. Remember? I am someone who finishes what he starts, not I'm trying to. Number 2, specific, not generic. I am confident is a placeholder word. It means nothing to your nervous system. I am someone who speaks first in a room full of people who intimidate me. That's specific enough to actually rehearse. Number 3, said with the emotion attached, not just the words. This is the one people skip, and it's one that actually matters. You don't just say the sentence, you feel the sense. If you can say, I am someone who finished what he starts, and feels nothing, you haven't declared it, you receded it. Say it again. Say it until your chest does something. That's how you know the subconscious mind is actually receiving it instead of your mouth just making sound. You understand? This is the part of the ritual that never has repeated. Not once, not for a week, every single day out loud until the sentence stops feeling like a lie and starts feeling like a boring fact you already know about yourself. That's the finish line for this phase. And when the declaration gets boring, boring means it installed. So, phase 4 of the ritual, the evidence hunt. Here's something almost nobody explains correctly about identity change. Your brain has something called a reticular activating system, and its entire job is to filter reality down to whatever match what you will ever decide to true about yourself. Most people think this works against them. I always notice the bad stuff, without realizing the exact same mechanism can be pointed to the other direction on purpose. What you look for, you will find evidence for. If you declared, I am someone who finishes what he starts, in phase 3, phase 4 is something you actively go hunting for proof. Not big proof, tiny proof. You finish a conversation you usually wouldn't walk away from. That counts. You finish a workout you wanted to cut short. That counts. Write it down. Every single day, find at least one piece of evidence for a new identity and lock it somewhere you actually see it again. This feels small. It is not small. This is literally how your identity get rebuilt. Not through one dramatic transformation moment, but through the accumulation of 100 tiny receipts that your nervous system eventually can't argue with anymore. The old identity had decayed and evidence built up. The new one starts at 0. You're not trying to win the argument in one day, you understand? You're trying to make sure the new identity has more evidence than the old one, eventually by sheer repetition. So, and now phase 4 of the ritual, the integration. Last phase, and it's the one that determines whatever any of the first 4 actual stick. You are going to change, and some of the people around you are going not to like it. You need to hear that now before it happens, so it doesn't derail what it does. People actually want you to grow, and they want you to grow in a way that's confident for the relationships they will have with you. The version of you that says yes to everything was easier for a lot of people to be around. The version of you that finished what it starts is going to make some people uncomfortable, because your growth becomes a mirror for their stagnation, whatever you say a single word about it or not. So, integration means a new identity to size contact with the old world. This is where most rituals fail. Not in the writing, not in the declaring, but in the moment someone from your old life looks at you funny for the being different, and you shrink back into the old identity because it's familiar and it's approved of. Integration means you let be a friction happen to you and stay away. You don't need the room's permission to be someone new. You need your own. So here's the ritual. One more time. Cleanly. So you can actually go do it instead of just nodding along. Name the current identity honestly, without flinching. Bury it in writing, in past tense, and let yourself actually feel that. Declare the new one, present tense, specific, with a real emotional change behind it. Hunt for evidence of it daily, no matter how small. Integrate it, even when people around you like the old version better. That's it. That's the entire mechanism. Not a vibe, not a vision board. A ritual, done it order. Repeat it until it's boring. I don't care if you take me seriously. The people who pay me to walk them through this person take it seriously, and you're getting the entire structure for free, right here. So don't watch it. Go bury something. I'll see you in the next one.